Good morning everybody, bright and early, 7 a.m. I am making my way to Champion Car Company where the owner of the dealership and myself are going to be taking the GT-R to Cars and Coffee. So first, let's wake up. So now that I'm awake, let's hurry up and hit the road and get to the dealership. Just like that, made it to the dealership and checking out the GT-R once again. If you do remember, I filmed this a few months ago actually when I had the Red Z. This car got over 700 horsepower, full Rocket Bunny. Pretty much everything you can do is almost under this car. And then carbon fiber race seats. This car is amazing. And they also got some other pretty neat cars. Check out this Audi TT RS. Should I do a review video on this thing? Looks pretty sweet and it's pretty comparable to the Nismo. This has a set of Rotiform 3-piece wheels. They're like $4,000. This car is pretty sweet looking. Gotta love cold starts in a video. Maybe later today we'll get a little rev-off between the GT-R and the Nismo because they definitely have some similarities in the way they sound. You can definitely tell that they are related cars. So I just gotta move two cars real quick in the front, get the GT-R out, and then we'll hit the road. And we are setting off now in the wide body GT-R. Always a good time in this kind of car. Roll cage wing, carbon race seats. Bridge in a GT-R, good way to wake up in the morning. If I could have it any other way, guess it's hard to say it's all the same to me. Oh darling, it's all the same to me. Wherever you are, we're staring at the same old stars. Both have beating hearts inside our chest. Whatever you do, it all adds up to you. Just do what's right in front of you. Alright, so it is getting about time to leave. Quite a few pretty cool cars came, a lot of muscle cars of course, but the Audi and the BMWs back there were pretty nice, a lot of cool Subarus, and of course the GT-R, which is now surrounded by two non-cars. made it back to the dealership now. I think we should see how the GT-R sounds compared to my Nismo. Alright, so both cars definitely sound pretty good. The GT-R, you just cannot get enough of that one. But for now, we're gonna say goodbye to this monster. Over 700 horsepower in this Rocket Bunny car. This thing is ridiculous. So now time to hop back in the Nismo. I'm gonna go ahead and head to my parents' house. That way I can actually film all the exhaust videos, which you will probably already have seen by this point, may or may not. So let's hit the road in the Nismo. So I've now made it to one of my favorite roads. This is a pretty sweet road that kind of goes to nowhere. You can get up to about 80 miles an hour safely and slow down at the other side. This is where we come for all of our exhaust videos. But I got all the GoPro camera gear and everything I need, and we'll go ahead and get the after clips with the AAM exhaust on the Nismo. So I just did all of the accelerations. I had my good camera, which I'm filming on right now, on the tripod, and now I'm going to do all the POV ones. So for those of you who don't know how we do this, you can see this cord we have. So what we do is tape these little microphones right above the exhaust tips, and these are actually like $5 on Amazon, and I bought a pack of 5 of them, so about $1 a piece. Really, really inexpensive, obviously. And then for like $7, got a 5-foot long connector. And as we make our way back into the car, we got the adapter to actually plug this into the GoPro. And then GoPro right here, I'll be using Super View, and then the head strap mount for all the POV shots. And now this is the GoPro view and Super View, so you can see a lot. So I'll go ahead and put it on my head. Might make a little bit of noise, but hopefully you can probably see me in the rear view mirror. And then taking this, once I plug it in, all of a sudden we'll have nothing but awesome exhaust. Now let's talk about the Nissan GT-R, which is kind of the theme of today's video. Obviously, we just took the wide body GT-R to Cars and Coffee, which was a lot of fun. So the GT-R was first introduced, I guess maybe 2008 is when I first saw it. I thought it was really cool. I liked how Nissan, which was a normal car company, nothing really too special at the time aside from the 350Z. But when they introduced it, it was a really cool supercar that was actually affordable. I think when it came out, it was like 60 or 70 grand. Of course, they've gone up in price every year. But at that time, that was not a bad price, and at the time, even still today, it's a car that can obliterate Lamborghinis and Ferraris on pretty much any type of performance test. So the GT-R was always something that I really, really liked. And then the first time actually riding in a GT-R was, I think, 2015 around VIR, which is a racetrack. And the funny thing is, I actually got to ride in a 2015 Nismo 370Z, pretty much identical to the one that I ended up buying 2 years later, which is kind of crazy how that worked out. But I rode in that Nismo 370Z. I owned the Genesis Coupe at the time, and I had the time of my life going around in the racetrack with that, with the pro driver. We were going about 80 to 90 miles an hour around the turns, and it was just so much fun. So maybe subconsciously, that's why I ended up wanting to buy one of them. But then I got to ride in the GT-R around the track with another pro driver. But honestly, it just seemed boring. And at the time, I was still learning more and more about cars and what they're capable of. But riding in the GT-R at that time was a boring experience. And I think it's just because that car can do so much more. So 80 miles an hour around a turn is just nothing for it. So at that time, I was kind of bored with that car, thinking that I would never want to buy one. But then when I got to drive one that was, of course, heavily modified with exhaust and blow-off valves, and of course the crazy Rocket Bunny body kit, then I started getting back on the GT-R train, thinking that that is something that I will want to buy. And when I bought the red 370Z at the time, I actually told myself that my next car will be a GT-R. And then 6 months later, I ended up buying this Nismo, and this Nismo actually is going to make the GT-R more possible the way I bought it. But the GT-R is still going to be my next car, and I'm planning for it next year. I think towards the end of the year will be a good time to pick up one. I love the Nismo. I don't want to get rid of this car anytime soon. I want to enjoy it as much as I can. But this car was never supposed to be the car that I have forever and ever and just keep modifying it until, you know, I spent all my money on the car. But this car was more of a stepping stone car that I knew when I was going to buy this, and the way I did it, since I already told you guys that I'm financing it, building credit basically to get the GT-R. So this car for me is a stepping stone that I'm gonna have for maybe a year and a half at least, and then that'll make it to where I've built enough credit to where I can actually do a GT-R, and it'll be pretty affordable at that time. So that's just something real quick I wanted to mention, since obviously I got to spend the morning with the GT-R. It just kind of brought back the goal that is in my mind of buying a GT-R next year sometime. The goal is R35 before 25. So if I get it before the end of next year, I will reach that goal, and you know, that's basically what I'm gonna do. But yeah, getting to take the GT-R to Cars and Coffee was a lot of fun. So when the time comes for me to actually buy one, I definitely want a stock one, and I think that with that car, it is boring in the stock form. That's probably another reason why I was underwhelmed when I got to go in one around the racetrack. But throwing on an exhaust system, probably full catback I guess, and then blow-off valves, I think those two things are what transforms that car into something that is exhilarating and makes the car have a lot of drama. So I'm definitely looking forward to that in the future, but of course in the meantime I will continue to enjoy the Nismo because this car is amazing. Yeah, and the new exhaust system is incredible. I absolutely love it, and there's like minimal drone. I will be doing a full review on this exhaust and what I really think of it, especially comparing it to the standard short tails that I had on my other car. So I've actually just arrived to my parents' house, and crazy enough, that is my dad on the motorcycle way up there. What are the odds that we come home at the same time? So I'm meeting up with them because fireworks should be going tonight. That will be, of course, a lot of fun. They were supposed to be last weekend, but it rained and it was way too windy for them for the 4th of July. So well, we do have a big cloud coming, so hopefully what happens tonight, that'll be a lot of fun. So I'm home now, it's about 6 o'clock, and of course that big cloud now turned into a thunderstorm. What's that? Man, what's that noise? Well, we got a few hours until the fireworks start, so hopefully it'll clear up and then we'll check them out. Now finally off into the distance we can see some sunlight hitting some trees. So as you can see, the fireworks happened. So after the fireworks, now time for me to make the journey home, start working on editing this video. Just as a cool note, even going about 42 miles an hour, there's no drone with this exhaust. A little bit when I slowly accelerate, but so nice. And how good does a Nismo sound at night? that has been a very long day, starting it at 6 in the morning when I woke up, and then about 7 or 8 whenever I left. I don't even remember at this point. But finally back home, start working on editing the videos now. I have a few exhaust videos to work on, then this video obviously. All the stuff in the trunk, just camera gear, lunchbox, and yeah, a bottle of V8. All right, so I'm now gonna end the video here. My camera has about 10% battery left, so I used 90% of the battery today, getting the computer started up to go ahead and obviously start working on the videos. This was really my first like daily vlog type video. Yeah, so busy day. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button down below. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next video.